Hello, I am Anthony J. Piccione. I am the founder and artistic director of the Talking It Out Virtual Play Festival in support of mental health awareness. And if you'd like to learn more about our festival, please watch this video. So, the Talking It Out Festival started as an in-person reading, like a one-time, minimalist stage reading event at the Dramatists Guild Foundation. This was March 2019. And it was just me and a couple of my friends. We were getting together to read some scripts that some playwrights had sent us, all based around the theme of mental health. And I was originally only planning to do it for like a one-time thing, because it was a fundraiser actually for my own play, a therapy session with myself back then. But then it went so well, it was so well received, I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe I could do this on a more consistent basis. And initially I was thinking of doing it in person, but if it's kind of hard to produce an in-person play festival on such a consistent basis. I admire everyone who's able to do it, but also then the pandemic happened, and then uh, theaters shut down and all that. And we actually just got word that in New York theaters are starting to reopen, although I'm sure virtual theater will still be there. But anyway, long story short, I decided, okay, I got these play submissions from these playwrights. I have Zoom. There's a lot of cool stuff going on Zoom. And so why not just put it up there every 4 months for free to the public to watch? And so we do it every November, every March, and every July. We're currently in our first season of the virtual festival, and we'll be announcing the first plans for the second season in the coming months. But this is our second performance of this season, and we have some great playwrights and some great actors who are working on it. And again, it's free, but we are accepting donations. Half of them go to the artists, so that would be the playwrights, the actors, and myself. It's all divided evenly amongst all of us. And the other half goes to the National Alliance on Mental Illness and the work that they do to raise awareness for mental health. So, this is a topic that I'm very passionate about. I've been passionate about it for a long, long time. If I think anyone who's familiar with my writing is aware of that, but and a lot of our actors too, they had their own experiences with mental health as well, and that's why they were drawn to it. I actually talked to some of the playwrights who are involved in this particular performance, and I was really, really inspired by the stories they told that inspired them to write these plays. So I don't want to give away too much about the content of these plays, but I hope people will come see this performance and maybe they'll consider donating too. It was a thrill to see the reaction to the first performance. It was a sold out audience, it's a virtual audience, but it was people from all over the world because we have actors from different corners of America and the world. So naturally we got lots of different people seeing it, and as far as I'm concerned, the audience loved it. The playwrights, the feedback I got from all the playwrights in terms of seeing their plays produced in such an unconventional manner, it meant the world to me to hear that, because as a playwright myself, I know how sensitive a writer can be in terms of seeing how their work is being presented when it's in the hands of someone else. And it's been really good. And I'm not gonna lie, the first performance I was really nervous putting on, because I never produced a virtual theater show before. Zoom was still very much something new in 2020. And so, but going into this performance, if I'm being honest, I'm trying not to get too confident, because obviously you have to be at least a little nervous going into anything, just so you can drive yourself to perfection as a producer or director or whatever. I always tell that to my actors, don't never get too confident. We're always trying to achieve perfection. But I think I feel more confident now with the reaction to the last festival performance, and I hope this performance will be at least as good, if not better. So we have 5 playwrights for each of these 3 performances in the festival. For this performance, we have a play called Because by Marcus Gorman. There's The Silence of My Lonely Room by Scott C. Sickles. Joint Adventure by Stephen Hayet. Glass Slipper by Molly Peterson, and Warpaholics Anonymous by Russell Nichols. I guess I'll go in order of when they're presented, in terms of telling you about the plays, but Because is actually a solo piece, and it's about a teenage woman who is dealing with a lot of trauma in her life, in terms of her family, in terms of her boyfriend, and she's outside a bar having a conversation. We don't really see who she's having a conversation with, but it tells us a lot about the difficulty she had growing up and the difficulty she's had with the people in her life. And I don't want to give away too much of what the trauma is, but it's honestly very heartbreaking when you see it. And it also deals with a lot of the homelessness issue, particularly when it comes to youth in America. The Silence of My Lonely Room deals with schizophrenia. There's a young man who had a falling out with one of his best friends because of an incident related to his mental health issue. And in this play, you see them coming together for the first time since that incident and trying to work out sort of what happened between the two of them. Joint Adventure is probably the funniest of them. It's about an old man with Alzheimer's disease being visited by his granddaughter, and it starts off tense between the two of them because he's very forgetful and all, but they bond uh, over the magic of marijuana, and so hence the name Joint Adventure. Stephen, if you're listening to this, that is a great title for that play, by the way. I don't know if I've ever told you that, but so yeah, that's Joint Adventure. Glass Slipper is, I always see it as like a deconstruction. This is just my interpretation, a deconstruction of like the cliche fairy tale stories and how like we don't always see the traumas that the characters might go through in their family lives and whatever. And it's about a character who's based off Cinderella, who is in therapy, and she is talking with her best friend about whether or not to break up with her boyfriend named Princeton. Don't think I need to explain why he's called Princeton, because, fairy tales and all. And yeah, it's interesting. And it goes into like really the stigmas of mental health and how that might impact relationships. So it's not just a fairy tale story. It really deals with some real world issues there too. And Warpaholics Anonymous is, it's as you can tell by the title, it's kind of a play on Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's sort of a sci-fi type story in which people are addicted to quote warping, like going through time, like going too fast, and it's an interesting play, and it deals with addiction in a way that I think is very unique. And addiction's a very important issue, and maybe for people who might not want to watch like reruns of like Intervention and are more sci-fi nerds, maybe they might enjoy this play while also seeing the parallels to that issue. So yeah, again, these are all some really great, very unique plays. I wanted to get like sort of an eclectic collection of plays to present because I don't think there's one right or wrong way to write a play or to tell a story, as long as they're all dealing with mental health in one way or another. And I hope the audience likes them too, as much as I do. More than anything else, what I hope the audience gets out of this performance and the festival, broadly speaking, is the fact that mental health, it doesn't come in one form, and lots of people deal with certain mental illnesses in their life. And I always say that like if you yourself don't have any sort of mental health disorder, then chances are someone in your life who you're close with that does. And these plays, like I mentioned a few of the conditions with this performance in particular, like schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, addiction, like anxiety and depression, and trauma, like, and we're gonna have some more plays this coming July too that deal with some other issues too, and we did back in November as well. And I hope what people will see is, first of all, maybe they'll see something in their own lives that they can relate to in at least one of the plays. But if not, I hope maybe they get a better insight into something that they weren't familiar with at all in their own lives, and maybe they'll see that this is something that we need to take more seriously, that this is something we need to be honest about, we need to be open to talk about it and have a conversation, and also to be more sympathetic to people who might be dealing with these conditions, because you never know who might be dealing with something like this in their lives. You never really know on the surface. Like I was on a podcast a while back with someone, and the host referred to it as invisible illnesses, and that's absolutely true, because you don't know until you really get to know them what they might be dealing with. So I think we need more compassion, and I hope maybe the audience will come away with more compassion too. I think what I'm most excited for is what I'm most excited for with really any performance, with anything I produce, to collaborate with lots of different artists. And especially with this, with virtual theater, like there are a lot of cons to virtual theater, but one of the pros is that you can work with people not just in New York where I'm from, but also from like all over the world. Like we have actors in Connecticut, we have actors in Ohio, we have one actor who's in Singapore, and and we'll probably have audience members who are from all over too. Like it's really incredible that, and that was just this performance. Like last performance, we had people from all different parts of the world too. So like I think like one of the nice things about being a New Yorker, like I know this is a bit of a tangent, but one of the nice things about coming to New York and being here for this long is I get to meet people who come from all different parts of the world. Like even in this show, for example, like some people who are currently based in New York, there's one actor who is from the Philippines. There's one actress who's from Italy, another actress who's from the UK. So we have people who come from all over, like, and it's really amazing to see all of us come together for the same reason, to create art, to create theater, and more specifically with this, to raise awareness for mental health. And I think more than anything else, I'm excited to be working with these actors so closely. They should watch the Talking It Out Festival because mental health awareness doesn't get talked about enough. It's beginning talked about more and more, I've noticed, within the past few years. Like definitely more than say when I was a teenager and dealing with these issues at an intense degree. But I also think people aren't talking about it in a completely honest way, and how ugly it can be and how it impacts the lives of people who surround them, whether it's the people dealing with the conditions themselves or their family members or their close friends or their significant other, whoever. And I think, I hope at least, maybe that's something they will think about when they see these plays. And I think they should come see these plays because I think one of the reasons at least I selected these plays was because I think they do a good job at varying degrees highlighting real world issues that I think are very ugly and can have a negative impact on people. And like the only way we solve it is to talk about it. And I would invite the audience to be part of that conversation by coming to see the festival. My plans for the Talking Out Festival in the future beyond this season is to stay virtual at the moment, whether for like the third or fourth season or wherever, like we do an in-person version too. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead, but for the second season after this, it will be virtual again. I will say, I guess I can announce this now. We are planning to do not just short plays for the second season, but also longer one acts and a full length play for the festival next season. And so I'm planning to open up play submissions in May for Playwrights, so for Mental Health Awareness Day. So playwrights can submit pretty much any length of play that they want as long as it's not over 2 hours long. And I'll be happy to consider it for that because I want to expand beyond just shorter pieces because I love short plays. I've written my own share, and the short plays I've selected for this festival are some of the best there are. But I like to expand beyond that and sort of experiment with the idea of doing longer plays. So that will be one change we do. And yeah, so that's my current plan anyway. Because I think with not just mental health, but with lots of issues, I think theater is the most important, the best way of doing it because with live performance, there's a certain level of authenticity that you get that you don't get from film or from pre-recorded performances. Because like with, I know some people over Zoom like to pre-record things and then present them, but no, the Talking Out Festival is completely live. Like, so when people see it on their computer screens or wherever, they'll be seeing it in real time, the actors' performances. And, it's this, I think you could say the same thing about going to a concert or going to see stand-up comedy. Like, it happens in real time, and there's a certain level of interaction, there's a certain level of authenticity that you get from live performance that you don't necessarily get from like doing like dozens of takes on like a film, like with a film camera or wherever. And I think especially with mental health, we need authenticity. And, you know, we already have that with the script, but I also think we're going to have it with the actors too. Like, we're definitely going to have it with the actors too. And if people aren't seeing the authenticity in the performances, then they're not going to see, or at least not to the extent that we need to, the the authenticity of this issue. Because, like, I know I'm kind of sounding like a broken record a bit, but it's a real issue that needs to be talked about more and more. And, like, I think doing it in a way that feels real, I think is the best way to do it. And theater feels real when we do it live. They can help the festival for starters by donating. We have our ticket page on Eventbrite, so you can donate. And again, half goes to the artists, and you know these are tough times for artists, so like it won't be unless we get like a huge $1,000 donation, which I'm not anticipating, but who knows? Then I don't know how much it'll help each individual person, but it'll help, you know, maybe get us a meal for a week, maybe get us a couple cups of coffee, etc. So it will help that in that sense. And so and also they can follow us on social media. We have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page. You can follow us at Talking It Out. So those are the best ways to help us. And also just by coming to see the show. By coming to see the show. And yeah, I mean, we do it for free. Like, it's all like, I know half the donations go to us, but generally speaking, like, there's no particular stipend agreement. Like, everyone's doing this because we care about theater and we care about mental health awareness. So the best way people can do it is by just supporting us in the ways we've promoted, and I hope they do that. Our next performance is on March 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, you can learn more about the festival by visiting our Facebook page at Talking It Out Fest and our Instagram page at Talking It Out Fest. We also have a Facebook event, which if you like type in Talking It Out March 20th performance or something like that, you can find our Facebook event. And yeah, from there you can find our Eventbrite page, you can purchase free tickets, and you can make a donation. And yeah, I hope to see you all there on March 20th. I think it'll be a fantastic performance, and it'll be even better to have you guys. But get your tickets soon because they are selling quick. I will say that.